Oh, hi there. Welcome to Shogi in the West, an English language podcast for active Shogi players and Shogi learners around the world. In this podcast, we focus on the topics and the people that matter to those of us outside Japan trying to find our way in the game. And for this week's episode, I am joined by special guest host Koshiro. I don't think he needs much introduction to my viewers and listeners, but I'll take a stab at it anyway. Koshiro is one of the very best shogi players outside of Japan and has been a cornerstone of the Brazil shogi scene. It was tough for me to locate exact numbers, but by my count, Koshiro, who is 6 dan in Brazil and on Shogi Wars, and 7 dan on 81 Dojo, has won the Brazil Meijin title 10 times and has also held the prestigious Brazil Osho title for numerous years as well. Koshiro qualified for the most recent ISF tournament in Japan, the largest worldwide amateur shogi tournament, where he placed third there among incredible competitors. Koshiro is also an active content creator with a YouTube channel called Shogi Brazil, which I highly recommend you check out and subscribe to. Beyond that, Koshiro is an outstanding shogi educator and coach, and I attribute so much of my own shogi growth to his hard work and dedication. Most importantly, though, Koshiro is a great person, and I am extremely proud to call him my friend. So, all that said, welcome to the podcast, Koshiro. And what do we have in the plans today?
Thank you very much, Frank, for the introduction. I consider you my friend as well. And today we were thinking about doing a tier list for openings to get to shodan first dan, especially on Shogi Wars or 81 Dojo. So we are going to list 8 to 10 openings and rate them by uh, let's say reliability to get to consistency to get to first done shodan. Okay.
Nice. Yeah. And I think, some people might say, why make these types of things? I think for me anyway, um, it kind of just talking about this stuff opens the door to like discussing, why some openings are good at amateur levels versus pro levels. It helps Western players just navigate the overwhelming number of like named shogi openings. But again, for me, it's like a conversation starter. It's getting everything. It's getting us talking. It's getting us talking. It's not like
Yes,
this is the best thing to do. Yeah.
yes. Let's start straight to, in my opinion, S tier openings, which are, let's say here, I think the S tier are Gokigen Nakabisha, actually, uh, Third Fire Rook, um, and for static rook, Hayakurigin, which is in English, I think it's fast advanced silver. I'm not sure, but those are the S tier for me. And another one, which is the uh, enemy, the Frank's enemy, which is Michigan Bisham. I think
Mm,
those are the four S tiers to get
interesting.
to
It,
to Shodan.
very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, the one that I had, and I made a little bit of a list too to try to think of what I would go with. The one that I have in the S tier, and I don't think this might, based on some things I've seen on Discord, this might be sort of hot take ish. But and I don't know if this is what you call an opening necessarily, but I sort of think Yagura. I just my criteria, I guess, my criteria for ranking these when I was thinking about it before our episode here was like ease of learning, Like, how easy is it to understand what we're trying to do, especially as someone who's trying to get to the shodan level? Um, how I don't want to call it like foolproof, but like how how resilient is the opening if you make a mistake? Like if you make a mistake, are you just going to be destroyed? So like if does our opening collapse after we make like one we mess up a move? Um Flexibility, like can it evolve to something else? And well, and then does it work? Does it work at the low levels? I think that's does it work at the low levels and maybe into the shodan, tudan kind of range. So that was how I was sort of ranking these things, and I thought maybe Yagura would be there as well. But anyway, I like your list. I like your list.
Yes, Yagura is very solid. It's it scales well into the middle game, and actually have a very high a very high ceiling at the top level. And I actually get to Brazil Sandan third third dan, just playing Yagura.
Mm.
But yeah,
Oh, I didn't
I
know
only
that
played
part of the lore.
yeah, I only play Yagura for a long, not a long time. It was about I play Yagura for about 3 3 to 4 years. Yeah, just only Yagura.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, almost 5 years. Almost 5 years only Yagura against static rook, against ranging rook, against everything.
wow.
Uh, I wouldn't recommend that. I actually wouldn't recommend that because uh, if we play Yagura and over castle in the opening, we just get destroyed. But I get I actually my first tournament, I was 9 years old. My father taught me Anaguma. He said, just play this castle and you are good to go. I guess what happened in that tournament.
Did people make rapid attacks or?
They made rapid attacks, and I lost all the games, all the
Mm.
games. Nine, I don't know, it was 9 or 10 games, and I was pretty down and stopped playing in tournaments for about 2 years.
Oh
Yeah, I was
wow.
9 years old. Yeah,
You
yeah,
were 9?
yeah, yeah.
Oh
It was,
wow.
it was in the 50 Meijin tournaments in Brazil. Yes.
Wow.
But yeah, that's the lesson learned.
Wow.
Don't play
Anaguma
over
almost
castle.
consumed a young player.
Yeah, yeah. That's don't play Anaguma, and Yagura can falls in the same trap because Yagura takes a lot of moves to complete. So the thing about Yagura is that the the middle shape, the temporal shape is very solid, it's very reliable. So such as the crab castle, which it turns into Yagura, is very solid. So I would actually, if you play, let's say, Bogin or static rook Bogin, I always recommend making the crab castle instead of the Yagura because it's temporary, it's good enough, it's strong enough to start attack. And yeah, mm, full Yagura is, I think it's a no for beginners, but
Hmm.
half Yagura, a crab castle, that's really nice. In castle wise, if you we talk about castle tier list, Yagura might be B tier for me, but the Heavy Agora or a Krabby Castle would be S tier to play, let's say, air quotes, modern shogi, because the modern shogi is really is really heavy on fast attack, fast engage.
Wow, wow. This is incredible. I really that really changes a lot of what I thought. I thought you started and were a fourth file player for a long time. So this is sort of new to me, or maybe I just didn't realize it. I thought you started as a fourth file player.
And
Wow.
I used to teach profile rook to new players because yeah, that's in my tier list here is the A tier for fire rook because it has a very good balance between defense and offense. Of course, it's a counter attack counter attack strategy open, but we got very safe in the early game, and it's hard to it's hard to mess up the move order in the opening for fireworks. So uh, yeah, that's a solid 8 tier for me.
Okay.
And maybe you thought that I play for five because I used to teach for
Okay.
firework to everyone who asked for a recommendation for opening.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry. I interrupted all the
No,
thought
that's
here. So we're in the S tier.
yeah, we are the S tier. So Haya Kurigin, yeah, fast advanced silver. Yeah, yes, Haya Kurigin with a light cast such as Crab plus Half Yagura, or just moving the king one one square up. It's maybe it's enough of defense for for coupling with this attack. Hayakurigin, I think it's a little bit better than Bogin because it exchanged the third of the 75 pawn, which increases our attack potential. And also Hayakurigin is interesting because after exchange that spawn or even exchange the silver or attack silver with the opponent silver, we can naturally develop our right knights to and support the attack with this knight. So it has a bigger attack. I think it has a bigger attack potential than the simple bowling.
Okay. So you said you can, if you don't make Crab Castle, you could sort of go into a Nakazumai-ish
Yeah,
type.
yeah, Nakozuma ish.
Ah.
Because we use the king to protect our camp. It's a little bit different philosophy from the past because nowadays in modern shogi we don't in those sharp open 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 boards, we don't blindly just protect the king. We can use the king to protect our camp. Yeah, we also use the king to for defense.
Okay. Yeah. So there are no drop points when we exchange, and
Exactly, exactly.
okay.
There are no forks. There are no
No
bishop,
forks. Yeah.
rook, rook, king forks. There are no forks. Rook, pawn forks. So yes,
Yeah. That's
that's
one
one
thing that's
move.
always amazing to me still now. As I've kind of, as I've raised my level and so I'm playing stronger opponents. When the opponent in a static rook situation moves their king, just puts their king up on 5-8 or 5-2 or whatever, um it just feels like it cuts off so many of my options, and it's shockingly, to me anyway, it's shockingly resilient, and it really makes me have to think more about the exchanges, because often when I exchange, I have nothing to do with my pieces, but my opponent will have something to do with theirs. And yeah, it's interesting. But for Hayakurigin, what would you say? Like, what's the main theme of it? The main theme is exchanging the third or seventh, the pawn and the silver, or what are we going for?
Yeah, we are going for of course, if your opponent is too passive, if he don't doesn't do anything, he just the idea is to attack with them with numbers in the second or eighth file. Of course, if your opponent don't defend correct, and if he does defend correctly, we go for the silver exchange, and after the silver exchange, we can develop the knights or do the classic edge attack with the two pawns hands. You see, we have exactly two pawns because we exchange the second and third five pawn. So we have
Oh,
two pawns and the silver in hand. So that's the classic follow up second wave of attack.
okay. Ah, interesting. Okay. And so haya means fast, right?
Yeah.
What is kuri? Like what is the translate what is a translation for this?
Cody, I think Cody is moving. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's moving like a zigzag. I'm not sure actually.
Okay. So it's like fast moving silver or quick silver.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, fast
Okay.
moving silver.
Okay, interesting.
I- I'm sorry. I close the door here because it's raining. It starts
Okay.
raining here. Just a
Alrighty.
minute.
Hmm. I'm this is not one that I had on my list, definitely. So even though we've
Summer
talked
in
about it.
Brazil.
Okay.
It's a summer rain.
That's more than fine.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
Hayakuri game. Yeah, and you see in Hayakuri game, it's interesting because you play the Ureshino, so you kind of make the Hayakuri game, but we call that you say the Ureshino silver, but
Mhm.
we call that oblique or diagonal bogging.
Yeah.
That's silver.
So
So it's
when
kind
I
of
play, it feels like if my opponent plays Bogeen and I go into like a very quick Yagura and my bishop is still in if I'm Gote and my bishop, let's say, is still on 2-2, is still in its home spot. When I still climb my silver. Is that Hayakurigin? Is that similar to is like what I'm doing similar to that?
yeah, you are doing similar, but it's if you do with your left silver, it's called bogging, oblique bogging.
Okay.
If you do with your right silver, it's hayakurigin.
Okay. 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 All right.
And yeah, yeah, and it's hayakurigin if you are center, if you push the pawn to 3-6 and place the silver to 7 to 4-6. So
Okay. So
that's
in
hayakurigin.
this the silver comes up through 3-7, not through five
Yeah,
three, or
yeah,
3-7, not from 5-7. Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Ah.
yeah. That's hayakurigin. From
Ah.
5-7, it's can be called hayakurigin if we go to 4-6.
Okay. Okay.
So
That's good to
yeah,
know.
we talk. Yeah, we can talk about the. I'm not skipping the other S tier, but Bogin is the brother of Hayakurigin,
Hmm.
and also I teach Bogin for beginners, and that's also solid A tier because it teaches us the shogi fundamentals, especially the attack fundamentals,
Okay.
the, the trade aspects, is how we can attack with numbers, and of course how we lose the number attacking numbers.
Yeah.
It teaches a little bit of edge attack because that's one way to to do debugging, the edge bogging, hash bogging.
Okay.
So that's a solid 8 years. And if a person is a attacking person, sharp person, I would recommend bogging to that person.
Okay, so you put that in A tier. This is interesting because, I don't have Hayakurigin on my list here. It slipped my mind, but I do have Bogin as S tier.
Yeah, yeah. I was debating about S tier or A tier for
Yeah.
bogging, but since we have Hayakurigin, I think I could put that's the bogging
I
in,
think the way you've
in
explained it, I
there.
think I would 100% agree now. Yeah, it seems to me like it's a little less Hayakurigin is a little less committal than Bogin, and it's a little less telegraphed. Like,
Yes, exactly. It's less telegraphic. It can let's say it scales better in the middle game if the game goes it goes a little bit slow, so it has more options than bogging. But yeah, to get shodan, bogging is great. High bogging is also great.
but most
More
importantly,
telegraph
Hayakurigin does have a Shogi Wars badge,
does
right?
have, yeah,
Okay,
it does, it
okay,
does.
okay, okay. So I can recommend it.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you can play the Kurigin variation without pushing our bishop pawn. That's called even past the Hayakurigin. It's called Kyokugen Hayakurigin. Uh, the I Dream of Shogi uh, plays and also recommends to play Kyokugen Hayakurigin. It's
Yep.
even faster,
Is
even
that
faster.
that's a sugar opening or Shodan? Is that a Shodan 7 or a sugar?
Yeah, I think Sugar plays. Yeah, Sugar. I think he plays quite often in his videos. It's been a long time since I watched a video of him, but
Okay.
yeah, it's not my style. His play style, but he's too strong. He can play anything that he can play anything in style opponents.
All right. All right. So what else do we have in S tier here?
So Nakabisha, but not the classic Nakabisha, closed Nakabisha. I think the S tier Nakabisha is uh, the Gokige Nakabisha, which is a central work with the open bishop diagonal.
Okay.
So yeah, that's he. I think it's very strong on the attack side. Of course, the downside is that the our Minot is yeah, our castle, which is the usually Minot, it's not complete. It's half Minot, and it's a little bit vulnerable if your attack fails. But I think Gokige Nakabisha has a very high. It has a really nice active rook, an active bishop, an active lefty knight, which is the lefty knight for ranging rook is the soul for a good for a good attack, for a good sabak. If you sabak the left knight in ranging rook, we can consider that is a, a success middle
Hmm.
game for the ranging rook players. Yes,
Wow.
because yeah.
That's information that I started as a Gokigen Nakabisha player, and I didn't know that until you just said it. I honestly like that. I did not even know that that was an idea until now. So hopefully, people listening
Yeah.
get something out of that because I played it. I picked it just the reason I had picked it was just because I read that it was aggressive and not so common, and I just picked it for random reasons that I read on the internet, and I just played 1,000 or 2,000 games with it. I didn't really know any of that stuff. So that is, looking back now, my brain is going and thinking about all these things that I could have done with that knowledge. Interesting, fascinating.
Yeah, you see, it's very natural to develop the left knight with Goki and Nakabishi because you see, if we jump it twice, it's already attacking the 5-3,
Mm-hmm.
5-3 or 5-7 square. So it has a very good synergy with the rook in also there is the edge bishop Nakabishi, which is kind of gimmick. Yeah, it's gimmick, but you see, if you play the edge bishop with the knights, it's already a three-piece attack in the 3 or 4 piece attack in the center. So it's not easy for a beginner, or let's say yeah, beginner or a middle queue player to defend
Yeah.
that attack. There are reliable ways to defend, but yeah, you see the Angelito, né, Gabriel Angelo, it's a well-known Nakabisha player from Brazil. He exclusively played the Edge Bishop Nakabisha until he got to, let's say, 2 kill or 1 kill. Then he transposed to the Kokige Nakabisha, the normal Bishop OP Nakabisha.
Okay.
It's really strong. So that may be uh, an interesting way to start our game playing not a meme but a gimmick opening just to get let's say easy or fast wins,
Yeah.
and then if that stop to work, play play a similar opening but more solid opening with more solid ideas.
Yeah.
Uh,
Boy, that's I mean that's interesting on a couple counts. The I still, so on Shogi Wars where I am at that shodan-ish level, I still see plenty of people doing the edge file bishop in Nakabisha. And so,
mhm.
it must be working for them. They're shodan, two dan level players, and they're still doing it. And like you said, it does require some more thought. And I think especially at the Q range, it seems like that's one of the things. Like if I had a list of things things I wish I knew when I was starting out, it's the power of simply adding attackers. Like you
Yeah,
said, when you add a bishop, you're adding an attacker. You get the knight, you're adding an attacker. And at the Q levels, people will sometimes just miscount their defenders, or they'll sort of get, I don't know if they get distracted. I know I would, but like as people add attackers, it's like, oh well, I need to be attacking too. And so you start attacking, but you're not defending. And so that feels sort of like a superpower to me. So I like that suggestion. And then for Angelito, his Nakabisha Gokigen and his Nakabisha with Anaguma, his play. Of all the amateur players, I actually think I have studied his games more than anyone. And I love his style. He's such a great attacker. It's hard to learn. It's hard to always learn attacking from someone, but like his Nakabisha. Well, I guess the most amateur I've watched is Urushi no Ryu channel. I should say that. I always forget that he's also an amateur. But yeah. I'm so glad you brought him up, because if you are a Nakabisha player, check out his games on 81 Dojo, and they're really instructional. I think, for me. Yeah, so I had Nakabisha, Gokigen Nakabisha, and or Nakabisha. I just put Nakabisha in general. I had that in the A tier myself, but also close to S, obviously. I think I do like, even though it has a thin castle, I also like the fact that it's sort of, I feel like I learned a lot about weaknesses in castles by playing Nakabisha. And I learned about adjusting castles based on what the opponent is doing. So Kimura Mino, or a little bit of a Ginkamari type thing. I think I learned that by playing a thin half Mino castle. So and I also learned like weaknesses of the Mino Castle against Furibisha. So, I would always just bring my king over. I'd bring my king over and always castle him in the 8 or 2-8 or 8-2. And that wasn't such a good idea. So I love having Nakabisha up there. I think, yeah, great choice.
Yes, Nakabisha is a great opening to learn the fundamentals on attack and of course fundamentals on the defensive side. We learn to not just to defense is not just build the cast. Defense is how to react against the opponent's ideas, opponent's moves statically, how to just drop a piece to defend to earn some tempi uh, or even learn how to ignore how to tenuki. It's important, especially playing Mino on I semi is
Mm,
multi attack scenario. So yeah, it it teaches it really teaches us, and also it's very good to climb the rank. Goki Kabisha. Normal Kabisha, I'd put maybe B tier because it's close, so it's it's a little bit harder to sabak to activate your
uh,
pieces. Yeah, but that it's also really solid. I Yeah, a classic, which I also I love. I also play a lot of classical Nakabisha. I like those two. And another S tier opening is maybe this maybe not today, but a while ago it was the favorite for amateur players, which is the Big Kimbisha. Yeah, it was really popular. I'm not sure about today, but everyone used to play that on Shogi War. At least on Shogi
mm,
Wars, we used to see a lot of mixed Kimbisha players. But it is understandable because it has a very a high attack power. And you see, since Shikimbishi is also popular, Big Shikimbishi is a popular counterplaying, a popular strategy against Shikimbishi. So Big Shikimbishi with the Elmo Castle was, yeah, it's really interesting against for firework. And and Big Shikimbishi with a crab or half a Yagura is also very interesting. Again, playing Kakugawari or even normal static rook against static rook. It's really it's, it's really interesting because let's say if opponents plays if you let's say if you play pawn 7-6, opponent plays pawn 7-4, opening both diagonals, and he closes with the pawn 4-4. You see the 4-5 square is already issue points, the attack points, which we can, of course, then we can play the silver, attack with the silver, the rook, the knights, and it's kind of straight. Not an easy play, but it's an easy it's an easy way to build up a really high potential attack. We attack with the bishop, silver, knights, and the rook easily. Just push the pushing the pawn to 4 5. So I think that's why I put that on next year. It's easier to to make the first attacking wave. Yes.
And that's not just against fourth file rook. So that's you think it's the same not base it's not the same attack, but it's the same power of sort of building that attack regardless of what the opponent is doing. Like you think this is an opening that you could play against almost anything?
I think we can play against almost anything. And also, this Mickey Bish is also interesting because we can. You see, the attacking ideas is the same for even if we play normal static rook, we can push the if we place the silver at 5 6 or 5 4. We call that recline no reclining silver. Yeah, reclining silver. Koshikakegin. That 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 is a really nice position for the silver because after push the pawn and we can develop then if takes we can take with the knights of or with the silver. We use the same attacking idea if we play static rook because now that pawn that knights can attack the third file or fifth file. And you see, imagine if we have the pawn at 4 6 3 6 and pawn at 2 5. We can push those 3 pawns. Let's say pawn push 4 5, he takes. Pawn push 3 5, he takes. Pawn push to 2 4, he takes. We sacrifice all those 3 pawns, and now we have a really nice attack potential because taking with the pawn with the knights, we can drop pawns at the third file, the fourth file, and the second file. So that's the basics of a really strong attack. Imagine that with the bishop diagonal. So that's a
Yeah.
really interesting attack coordination. And also we could also sacrifice the edge pawn to increase the attack potential, the drop pawn points to the max. So you see against Gangi, let's say against Gangi, I do that all the time. Just push those pawns and make some mess, and it's hard to defend. Of course,
Wow.
it's not easy to attack, but since since in Shogi it's harder to defend than to attack, so you can mess up easily. You
Yeah.
you see, we are not able to calculate everything, but make things complicated is nice, especially on Kiremaki games on Shogi War. So make your opponent think. Yeah, it's the psychological tactic is interesting on those Kiremaki games, especially 3 minutes, 10 minutes Kiremaki on Shogi Wars.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, I love that idea for the pawns just because like that seems to be that's another one of those things that I think of like things that you don't know when you start out or things that might be useful. I mean, it's hard to maybe use them, but like I say I probably say it too much on the stream, but when I see strong, excuse me, when I see strong players play, the way they exchange pawns and give themselves a lot of space to drop the pawns further up, like you're describing, it always amazes me. Like, wow, I could be doing this, but I don't even think about it. But maybe playing an opening like that, like maybe that would also be a great learning experience by playing that opening because you're building in those ideas and you're getting that idea, and those ideas don't leave if you play other openings. So yeah, yeah, it feels like it's something that I'm just now making a part of in my games. But yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, just like hedge attack, if you just make make tactical exercises, we don't actually we'll learn, but we gotta play those on games and try to ourselves to see if it's it's actually effective. So like the
Yeah.
edge attack with 2 pounds and silver. So it seems it doesn't seem that good on paper, but just just get into the opponent's camp. It's quite destructive. It's a quite destructive tactic. So that edge attack that happens on original game or Hayakurikin games, it it's simple, but it destroys people
Yep.
until yeah in every level of the game. Yes, we just have to try. Just try. If if it doesn't work, we gotta see why it does work. If it works, we celebrate.
Yep.
But
Yeah. Yeah, or
and
if someone does it, yesterday, I'm thinking one of the games I lost yesterday, someone made the edge attack. It wasn't necessarily it wasn't necessarily a good edge attack, but I misdefended it. And it became a great edge attack. So, the edge attacks are tough. They're tough, and pawn play is tough, and shogi sometimes requires some really it requires some it requires some good defense at times, and like you said, it's easier to attack than it is to defend. So yeah, by playing it, you sort of learn what works, what doesn't work, how to defend it. Yeah.
yeah, making I say that's making a mess, push pawns. It's not it's a skill, but before learn that skill, we just gotta try and try and try. Not blindly try, but
Hmm.
try and verify if that's real. It's not. It's
Yeah.
not that. It's not play or yeah. It's usually play, but yeah. But until we actually learn, it's a play. But we gotta try. You gotta try to push those pawns. And for another 8 tier, I put here the Ureshinoryu,
Mm.
which is yeah, it's very sharp. It's very high reward opening, but of course, if your attack don't work, if it becomes a slow game, it's hard for yeah, especially until first down, until showdown. It's hard to transpose to other other shapes such as let's say central rook or Sodebisha. Yeah, sometimes we gotta play the Sodebisha to make it work. So if the games goes slow, it's kind of hard to make a plan for the original player. But it's a solid 8 tier for me.
Yeah, I also put it in A tier. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the only
almost
other S tier that I had was I put Shikenbisha in S tier. Just because I think that's usually what I'll often recommend that to beginners and Q players, because it is easy to make those first it's easy to make the first many moves. It's difficult, it seems like, to mess up the order,
yeah,
and
it's very safe.
it teaches a lot of good things about building castles, adjusting your castles, attacking down this or counterattacking down this weird file, and so many people seem to use it and get success out of it at the low levels. I thought that that makes it probably pretty good. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I think the risk is minimal on playing Shikimbisha. It's rarely a losing position on the opening. Of course, it might not offer the same explosive, immediate winning chance as the S tier options, but it's very safe and reliable path to Shodan, in my opinion. Solid A, almost S tier, but those maybe as start for a counter attack player, it might be a S tier, but since we don't have immediate chances, winning chances as the other S tier options, I put that on A tier.
Okay. All right.
So it's another and actually I forgot to speak a little bit about Sunken Bishop. Sunken Bishop, the third fire rook. I put that a little bit above above Shikimbish. I put that on S, but maybe that's not a S tier, but maybe a plus or S minus tier. I think that's it's a little bit above Shikimbish because it has more attack options than Shikimbish. Sometimes if we can build the Ishida position, Ishida plenary position, that's ideal attack shape for sinking bishops. So I think because we have the in some games we have the rights to attack first. It's a little bit better than the skin bishop.
Mhm.
It's hard to get the chance to attack first playing Shiki Bishop, but that can happen. That can happen on while you play third fire rook. So,
And so when you saying third fire rook, you're mostly meaning the Ishida.
yeah, I say in general because first I think normal sunken bishop without Ishida without Ishida. If we can play Ishida. I mean, just Ishida, I wouldn't put that on A tier. I would put that on B tier because it it is it's really sharp in the opening, and I'd say it's very trappy. So it's hard to learn all the to learn or even to understand all the sharp lines on the fast Ishida or fast Ishida game. If of course if you can play if you can learn that so early, that's an A plus tier opening. But I wouldn't recommend. Um, let's say I wouldn't recommend trading bishops for the beginner players, but for middle queue to shodan, that's definitely an A or S minus
Mhm.
tier opening. Those are yeah, I think those are openings to start the game until get to shodan. Normal sunken bishop definitely is A plus S
Okay.
minus for beginners to shodan.
And then so what
Mm.
is the third file? What with the various third file openings? It seems like some of the lower level players that I've talked to that play it, they struggle to know what to do with the bishop. Is that I don't know if that's a universal thing. I think in a lot of openings, people struggle to know exactly what to do with the bishop. But like, it seems like sometimes with third file rook, some players will prefer to like if they're going against static rook, they will bring out the bishop in front of the rook. Some people will do. I think this is Ishida when it's on the edge. Is that what defines Ishida?
Yes, if you play the the bishop on the edge, the rook at 7-6, if you're a center, the rook at 7
Yep,
6, the knight at 7-7, that's the
that is
Ishida shape.
okay. Okay, that's what I thought. All right. And then some other people will try to readjust the bishop. They'll pull it back and then bring it into the diagonal that they're hitting the static rook.
Yes, that's what would recommend if the game if the opponents if your opponents doesn't play fast attack. I would recommend to put it exactly at that point to hit the opponent's rook.
I
Yes.
see. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and let's say another another 8 tier opening for me is opposing rook, Mukai
Mm,
Bishop. Yes, I say that especially the fast attack, fast engage Mukabisha when Mukabisha players do a balanced shape with half minnow and the gold and left silver supporting the supporting the left side. So that's quite interesting because this Mukai Bish, of course, against a static rook player, has the right to push the pawn to exchange the pawn. So having the right to attack first is a big plus for me, especially learn the game, learn how to exchange the pawns, having a good exchange. You say if Mukabesh can exchange the rooks, he already have the advantage because in the Mukabesh camp there are practically no place to drop the rook. So that teaches that that teach the players how to make good exchanges.
mm,
Motivation to showdowns and is it's really hard to break Mukabeishu
yeah,
as a fast attack as, as a fast attack player. Play against Mukabeishu can be tricky. Maybe play against Mukabeishu teach the other players how to take slow because that there are practically no way to fast attack a solid Mukabeishu.
yeah. Yeah, that's so I put it as A plus S minus. This is the only one that I had sort of on the bar. It seems like, as I've moved up the levels, it seems like I see Mukai Bisha a lot more often. And like you said, it's hard to break. It's hard to when I'm playing against it, it's very hard to get through it, and you have to play this slower game. It's forced me to learn. Playing against it has forced me to learn more about middle game pawn exchanges, slowly building an attack, becoming more defensive. And I used to play Mukai Bisha. I would only play it at as Gote against third file Rook. I would play Mukai Bisha, but that was a lot of games for me. And yeah, it's strong. It helps teach. I ended up learning more about castles and Kin Muso, and it's hard to break, and but it is, at least in against Furibisha players. And I think this is why I didn't put it. I think this is why I didn't put it in S tier. Is that against Furibisha players, I was often at a loss as to what to do. Like the games just became. It felt like neither of us knew what to do, so we would just do things, and then someone would mess up somewhere, and then there would be some sort of attacks. But I found it very difficult to make plans, and this is at like the 2 to 3 Q Shogi Wars level. When I was at that level, I was struggling pretty hard to make a plan. But other than that, yeah, I think it's great. And when other players play it, I know I'm in for a tough battle.
Yeah, uh, you say you said about iFuribisha games. Yeah, on iFuribisha games, the game usually goes Mukabisha against Mukabisha because it's the best place to put the rook because it gets the closest to the opponent's king.
Hmm.
So usually on mutual ranging rook games, the games become Mukaibisha against Mukaibisha. That's the natural way to develop the game. Yeah, that's uh, you see And as you said, y- you remember the spicy Nakabish countermeasure as o destino
Hmm.
autorizados player is to direct play Mukaibisha, placing your silver at 4-3 or 4-7. So that's the the natural way to play ranging rook against ranging rook.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, Mukaibisha it's the also it's the natural way to defend the pawn to for push when opponent plays Sunken Bishop or Shiken Bishop, and you try to push that pawn with the bishop rook coordination, place the rook at 2-2 or 8-8 is is the way to defend that push. Opponents has to defend that. If he does, it's if he does not, it's a free bishop trade for the static rook player. And sometimes it's a free advantage right off the opening. So yes, Mukabishi is really solid. So solid A even S yeah, I agree with the S minus rating. Yeah, that's a great opening for to climb for climb the ladder and get to shodan. So another 80. Let's see here. I think, yeah, I think we cover almost all that I listed here. I put a hero gakoi here, a duck. A hero
In
gakoi,
what tier would you put a Hiro Gakoi?
I put that on the B tier. It's it has a very solid castle, but I put that on B tier because it's really hard to come up with attack. It relies on the middle game strength, which is the hardest part. I think middle game is the hardest part of shogi. Opening, yeah, as a start, we can learn the basics and fundamentals. End game, we learn. We can put some tsume and some castle breaking castle, and we kind of are good to go. But middle game is, I think, it's really hard to learn. It's really hard to understand where to attack or understand the timing, attack timing or defense timing. And a hero gakoi, a duck relies on the middle game. So I think that's B tier for me. It relies on the user strength. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
uh, uh, of course everyone can play a hero. Uh, and the open can be a little gimmick. So that's another reason for B tier. Gimmick, you can't rely gimmick on gimmick play all the time. Eventually, we gotta learn how to play the game. Of course, if you are strong, you can play anything. But
Sure.
yeah, I don't think a hero is a good opening to learn the game. And we can, yeah, again, we can climb it with a hero, but I think there are better openings to actually learn the fundamentals and learn the trades, learn how to build up, you how to build up on a offensive shape. So yeah, that's not it's not a recommended
Yeah.
opening in my opinion.
Yeah. I had that as B minus C plus level.
Mhm.
And the reason I did, I agree with everything you're saying. The value that I think that I have for it, for me, for me personally, is mixing it in occasionally for fun. And I do
Mm-hmm.
think it it opened my eyes to all sorts of sabaki ideas. So these are ideas that I didn't necessarily get in the other openings, even though every opening, at some point relies on sabaki and things like that. But like I didn't really internalize that until I played some duck games, I want to say. And so, I don't know how many duck games I've played in my life, 30, 40, 50. I don't know, some number of games, but some of the ideas that I've gotten from playing those games and then reviewing those games with like you or with Ornolf, the four Dan Shogi Wars duck player.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like it opened my mind to ideas that I can use in my other openings. So for that reason, it forced me out of my safety net, and it like I think has improved my game in ways that I don't think I would have improved otherwise. Um, I think it also reinforced to me the value of not giving drop points in your territory. Like playing
Mm-hmm.
playing duck has been, it's like, wow, sometimes like I can just do anything, like I can throw pieces away, even sometimes it feels like, and I'm still okay because there's nothing the opponent can do. And um at my level, sometimes if the territory is not, it cannot be attacked or cannot have drop points in it, it's so easy to mess up. Like people will try to force attacks in. So let's say they get a bishop for a knight. Like let's say they win a bishop for a knight, and they'll just try to force things in. And sometimes you just can't force things in, and it's a quick turnaround. So I love that aspect. Like it teaches different things. Um, but when I play duck and someone knows what to do, then those games become very, very brute for me anyway. They become very difficult because it's just like I don't know what to do. They've put their silvers in the middle of the board. I have nowhere to sabaki, and they're just gradually pushing down the board and annoying my pieces. And then it's like, okay, wow, this is really tough. But
Yeah, if your opponents if your opponents just play solid, develop moves,
yeah,
suddenly the duck position is passive and exploitable. So yeah, it's it's fun. It's very a fun novelty, but and the rewards of playing duck is, I think, it's more psychological because it sometimes it catches opponents, uh, cuts suspects and opponents off guard. So
yeah.
and we don't against duck players. We don't like to lose against ducks. So yeah, so yeah, psychologically is is high risk, high rewards opening
the
psychologically.
the psychological game is very important.
Yeah, yeah, it's very important. So I think those are the the openings. We don't you didn't mention here Kakugawari and Negakari because it those openings relies on the opponent to play actually bishop exchange, double wing attack. If opponents don't want to play double wing attack, we just don't play Kakugawa bishop exchange. Static rook bishop exchange is the same. You say I don't like bishop exchange, so I because it has too much theory behind. So I just don't push the bishop the bishop on and play let's say Murata system. So that's why I didn't put that on the tier list here. the same as Agakari. Agakari is Agakari is really hard. So, uh, it's really hard to play. Yeah, I can't play that because I think it's also relies too much in on theory, so I avoid those by just play this system like Ureshino or Murata system.
Hmm.
I play
Fascinating.
those to avoid Agakari, Kakugawari. I also avoid and that side palm picker, which is really relies on theory. So I don't. I just want to cut that the time to play or do more fun stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly what what my experience is. You know, I've had a few streams where one stream I wanted it to be a KKS, the fourth file bishop exchange system, and I tried to play it, but not many players would allow me to exchange bishops. So I sort
Hmm.
of that was a stream that was supposed to be a KKS stream, but there wasn't much KKS on it. Same thing with Aigakari. There was a stream that I said I was going to do that, and I got almost no games that were Aigakari. And so I was just ending up like in a position that I'm unfamiliar with against and trying to just come up with ideas. So while I you know I while I assume these are great openings, I think at least at my level, it's not as simple as just saying, okay, I'm going to be a KKS player or I'm going to be an Aigakari player. You have to have other plans when your opponent doesn't
Hmm.
allow you to. And anyway, so that's where they are for me as well.
Yeah, those openings that we listed can be played can be played uh, regardless of how the opponents play. So Bogin, Hayakurigin, Urishinori. Of course, Urishinori, if opponents plays Range Rook, it turns into Torizashi, Shikinbisha, Sankinbisha, Nakabisha,
Yeah.
Mukabisha. Even Migishiken can be played regardless of what opponent does, Ahiro Gakoi. Yeah, but, but yeah, we gotta remember that every opening is a trade-off, is a match of personality. So yeah, we gotta choose what we like, what we like to play because Shogi is a hobby, so it has to be fun. If you are not having fun with X opening, just try Y opening or W opening until we get something we enjoy playing. If you don't enjoy any opening, just don't know, play other game, play Go or Mahjong, or Bridge, or play electronic games. I don't know. It has to be fun. You
Yeah.
don't want to be study opening. Don't have to be a char. You see, I didn't like to study opening because I didn't have the in the past. I didn't have fundamentals to understand the opening. That's why I just started opening after let's say air quotes a high level, not a high level. It's not high at all, but I just start to study opening when I think that I understand something that the opening stick to my head. I tried long time ago. I tried to study, let's say, Yagura opening theory, but oftentimes, not oftentimes, maybe 100% of times, I didn't get the position that I studied. So that frustrated me a lot. So I just said, whatever, I will just play whatever and just
Hmm.
play and make Tsumi. That's not study opening movie by movie. it was not my thing. But if you like to do that and you have fun doing that, I be my guest. That's great. If you like to just study something and play, do that. It's fun. So if you like long games, play long games. If you like 10-second games, play that. So just do what you like. Just stick to what you're doing. Just get in contact, have some contact with Shogi that eventually I'm sure we improve. You just get in contact, play 1,000 games, tens of thousand games. Eventually we improve, I think. But the most important thing again is just having fun because it's a hobby. You don't get to get don't want to get too much work. Just have fun. So
Very well said. I agree completely, and it's so easy to just try out an opening,
yeah.
play it 20 play 20 games or whatever with the opening, and if you're getting positions that you don't like, well, maybe that opening isn't for you. If you get positions that you really enjoy, maybe that is for you. Like, I've said before, I never started playing Urashino Ryu with the intent of being an Urashino Ryu player. I played it
Hmm.
because I was struggling against it. I was a Nakabisha player and I kept losing to Urashino Ryu. So no matter how much I studied it, I wasn't getting better. So I thought, let me just try this opening, see what people do against me. And after reading, the Wikipedia article just briefly, I started playing it and I loved it. And I'm still playing it thousands of games later. So it's yeah, like you say, it's really all about the fun. And it's not, I do enjoy studying openings, but it's not about that. It's about the fun and just thinking about the game and seeing some gradual progress. It just makes it easier. But for any of these openings, how do you recommend someone? So let's say someone has listened to this podcast now and they're like, okay, I've got to learn this Hayakuri Gin. They love what you said. What's the best way, especially for someone who doesn't speak Japanese? What's a good way to learn these? Like to find more information about this kind of stuff?
That's a tricky question because, especially for higher Kurigin, I'm not sure if there is a good English contents or material covering that. But I I think maybe the best idea is to get into the Discord, Shogi Hapo Discord, and ask it directly there if someone knows how to play, uh, or if there is a video or book
Mm-hmm.
about those. But yeah, I think Discord is the way to go, or Reddit. But Shogi Harbor Discord, I think it's the best way to at least know about that opening. Maybe I'm not sure if Adrian of Shogi made a video about those, but he talks about this opening. But probably have, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I would suggest Shogi Harbor Discord and ask her direct there,
That's
because
a good.
there are plenty of people. Yeah, shogi community is really warming, so everyone teaches everyone. So yeah, I think specific if you ask it in a specific question like that, you are going to get a nice response there.
Well said. Yeah. I think also I don't know if Hayakuri Gin or any of these openings have much, but I assume they might. Check out the Lee Shogi studies. People have
Yeah.
made Lee Shogi studies about a lot of different things, and it's certainly possible that there's something. And just thinking out loud now, because it worked for me with Urashino Ryu. maybe check Wikipedia. I don't know if you agree or anyone would agree with me, because maybe that information's bad, but it's what got me started in Urashino Ryu is Wikipedia, and finding just the basic ideas from Wikipedia, the English Wikipedia, which is a very short article, but it had basic
Mhm.
ideas. And then I brought them into the game, played it, and then I found someone on YouTube. It was a Japanese player, of course, but found someone on YouTube talking about the opening or playing the opening, and I got it. It might be an interesting project. I'm saying this now, I'm thinking out loud to have sort of openings and a list of players that play them, whether it's Western players like, oh, I can check out I Dream of Shogi's 81 Dojo
Mhm.
history, and I'll
Mhm.
see that he plays this opening. Or if I want to play Nakabisha, I could see, oh, Angelito is on 81 Dojo and he plays it. Or if I want to play Nakabisha with Onaguma, like if I want a lot to watch a lot of Onabisha or Nakabisha Onaguma games, I could look at oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name from Mexico. Oh gosh, oh
Okay.
shoot. I'll think of it and I'll put it in the show notes.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, that would be a great, yeah, that's a great idea. It would
but
be really
yeah, that would
helpful
be
for
fun.
new
That
players.
would be
Yeah.
fun. Or YouTubers as well. There are some different YouTubers that play the same types of openings. But anyway, it's just more fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have anything else that you want to add to this topic? Or I think we've got a lot here.
Yeah, we got a lot here, so I don't know if if people want to hear more about those other openings, we can talk about those openings in another podcast, or maybe we can just talk about castle tier lists as well. That's interesting, but that's for those nine, I don't know, 8 or 9 openings. I think that's all.
All right. So where can people find more from you? I'll give you a chance here to plug some of your things. And what you're doing these days.
Yeah, nowadays I'm not creating a lot of content. I'm not creating content at all, but yeah, I have a YouTube channel called Shogi Brasil, as you said. Also, sometimes I also live stream on Twitch, which is the Age Koshiro on Twitch. But I'm planning to make more content this year, and maybe even try to make uh, let's say not English content, but make a voiceover in English to, because my channel is in Portuguese, so
Mm,
I can upload those directly on YouTube. So where I make my idea was to make a normal video in Portuguese and just make a voiceover to make an auto dub, not auto dub, just a direct dub in English to to get more people to see the
yeah.
videos.
But if you're interested now, do not let that for anyone listening, do not let that dissuade you from going to the channel now, because the auto translate, in my experience, is quite good. It's much better auto translate for Portuguese than it is for Japanese. So his videos are, I've watched a million of them, and with auto translate, it's great. And like there's one video that one or two video there were two Nakabisha videos that I probably have watched like 10 times each, and I'm surprised you actually didn't mention it. But it's the silver, I think it's the silver horn Nakabisha, And
Oh
Koshiro
yeah,
has a video about that just it blew my mind. It really it's so good, and it's all with auto translate. So don't let Portuguese scare you away, because the auto translate is much better than it is for Japanese. So anyway,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That video is where I I knew I started to know about you. Oh, that's the English comments. It's really it's really kind, it's really nice. And then and suddenly I went to Twitch. Wow, oh, this guy that commented that video, and we start the interaction from that Tsunogin, Silverhorn
Yeah.
Nakabisha video. It was maybe our first contact
I think so. Yeah.
with each other.
Oh man. Okay.
That's really nice.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This has been, for me, this has been an absolute honor and a pleasure, and I had so much fun. I could listen to you talk about openings literally for hours. So I'm going to, after we're done here, I'm gonna take this video. I'll do my the get make it available for myself, and I'm gonna go for a walk and just re-listen to it again, just because I'm really excited, and I love this topic. Of course, all caveats aside, openings are not everything in shogi, but I do love the topic, and I'm so appreciative for you coming on here and talking about it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a blast. It was a blast to talk about shogi, especially with someone who's so passionate about it. So thank you very much for
Thank you.
inviting me, and yeah, for
All right,
talking about
everyone. So
cool stuff.
thanks again for listening. Please remember to like and subscribe, and check out Koshiro's channel and Twitch channel, and I'll put the links in the show notes, of course. So until next time, thank you for listening. I'll see you soon, and take care. Bye.